Today we're going to be looking at over 20 GameCube games on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro and seeing how well it handles them. Starting off with Animal Crossing on the GameCube, and all games are running at 0.7 resolution using Dolphin for handheld. As standard, we'll be using OpenGL as the renderer, and if we need to we can switch it up to Vulkan, but I'll make that clear when we do it. All of the settings are as standard as they come on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro for Dolphin handheld. And as you can see, Animal Crossing is running with no issues whatsoever, keeping 100% on the FPS. Now this time around we're showing FPS and the speed of the system, because sometimes these games, even though they're meant to run at natively, let's say 60 frames per second, even on the original hardware, they wouldn't consistently be at 60 frames per second. So seeing a dip on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro may make us think that it's not running it fully, but if we see the 100% at the top there, then we know that we are getting the full experience. I didn't show the percentage figure for the PlayStation 2 equivalent of this video, but for all future videos I will be doing it because I think it's a better representation than just looking at the frames per second alone. Moving on to FZero GX, and straight away we can see that the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is struggling. Going all the way down to 20 frames per second and keeping it around about 40, maybe 50 frames per second at peak, which gives us sometimes only 50% of the speed, maxing out at about 80%. If we swap on over to Vulkan, we might be able to get some better results. And instantly we can see that the speed is much better using Vulkan. Now there are still moments where the speed will dip down a little bit. You'll see the frames per second go down and the percentage. But overall it's a much better and much smoother experience using the Vulkan renderer as opposed to OpenGL. Further tinkering might be able to get you 100% all the time, but I think that's pretty good results just by swapping the renderer. Next up we're looking at Luigis Mansion 3, and this is a great example of why having the speed as well as the frames per second is really important, because this game jumps from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second, but it doesn't mean that the game isn't running at 100% speed. And as you can see, the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro handles Luigis Mansion with absolute ease. Next up is another classic, and that is Mario Double Dash. And once again we can see that Retroid Pocket 4 Pro has no issues with this whatsoever, not having to tinker with the renderers or anything. This doesn't really come as a big surprise because Double Dash is a game that we play a lot in our comparison videos, and even the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus did a pretty good job of this. Next up is Mario Party 6, and once again we can see that the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro has absolutely no issues running this classic GameCube game, keeping 100% throughout with pretty much zero slowdown whatsoever. Now, Mario Party isn't the hardest game to emulate, but it's good to see that the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is absolutely smashing GameCube emulation so far, and even when we have had issues, they haven't been hard to fix. Next up is one of the best games on the GameCube, and that is Metroid Prime. And once again, the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is absolutely smashing emulation for Metroid Prime. I thought this was going to be one of the trickier games to emulate with it looking so good, but as you can see, the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is having absolutely no issues whatsoever. Compared to PlayStation 2 emulation, which was absolutely brilliant on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, you can see the GameCube emulation is just another level. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snake's an absolutely fantastic remake of my favourite video game of all time, and I hate to say it, this is where the issues begin. As you can see on the Soliton radar, there's some weird flashing going on which makes it pretty unusable, which is an essential part of the game. Usually these kinds of errors are to do with the video renderer, so if we swap over to Vulkan, hopefully we'll get a better experience. Now the Soliton radar definitely looks better, but as you can see there's some weird glitching going on now around Snake. And you can't quite see it clearly in this footage now, but you will see it a little bit later. What it turns out to be is that for some reason the top left quadrant of this screen has some really weird graphical issues going on, and whenever it intersects with different parts of the level, you can really see the issues, with you even being able to see through lockers sometimes. This unfortunately is a glitch I wasn't able to fix, and for me, between the two renderers and both of them having issues, there wasn't really a scenario where I could call this game playable, a game that requires that immersion and requires you to be able to see what's around every corner. Unfortunately, I think this is the first game that doesn't really work well. I don't know if it's a Retroid Pocket 4 Pro issue or if it's an emulator issue. That I'll have to look into a bit further.
I'm under enemy fire. Secure the perimeter.
Moving on to another one of my favourites, and that's NBA Street Volume 2. And as you can see, we are back to buttery smooth emulation. This game looks absolutely fantastic on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, and it just plays so well. Consistently keeping the speed up 100%. This is a true pleasure on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro.
Welcome to the School of Hard Knocks. Oh, money, don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Dirty work. You're topping like cranberry sauce. Ice cream, ice cream. We all love ice cream. Now tell me something. How does that taste?
Next one is a really interesting one, and that's Need for Speed Underground 2. Now this was really tricky to emulate on the PlayStation 2, and we had to tinker around with some settings, but on the GameCube, as you can see, it's running at 100%. Now the funny thing is, it does look like the FPS is struggling, like the frames per second are struggling, but as I said on the PlayStation 2 video, it makes me think now back if these games actually did struggle on the native systems anyway. I do remember the Need for Speed Underground series feeling significantly different at the time, and it did feel like it pushed both the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube to the limits. So this could be what we're seeing here. One thing that can be said is that it is a very playable experience and it is very enjoyable on the system. But to be honest, I think I'll have to go back and do some research to see how these felt on the original consoles. Paper Mario, the 1000-Year Door, and this runs with absolutely no issues whatsoever on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. It looks like most of the classic Nintendo games work absolutely brilliant, and that's what we want to see. Talking about Nintendo classics, and unfortunately Pokemon Colosseum does have some glaring issues. Now the first thing, and I've noticed this previously on other emulators, for some reason when pressing down the character moves forward. It seems to only be the case if you're pressing down 100%. If you do like a 50% down, then it seems to work. But it's definitely some weird kind of behaviour, and it's something that I noticed in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on other emulators as well. The rest of the game seems to be okay, but that's until we get into the battles. And as you can see in the battles, there's big areas of the map that just disappear into darkness. Changing the GPU renderer to Vulkan also doesn't seem to solve the issue, unfortunately. The game seems to be playable, but in all honesty, there's just a few too many issues that make this not really that playable. Once again, issues I'm not really sure you could call Retroid Pocket 4 Pro issues, more issues with the emulator, I think. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and although this seems to run smoothly, it has all the same issues as Colosseum. The issues with the analog stick when you're trying to go down, you can't press 100%, otherwise it will go up. And the same issue that whenever you're in a battle, there seems to be huge areas of darkness, which doesn't seem to tie in well, even though that's the name of the game. Next up is Resident Evil, and we're back with no issues whatsoever. Running the game at 100% buttery smooth, you're able to enjoy this terrifying zombie adventure in all its glory on the GameCube. A fantastic experience with no issues whatsoever.
What is this place? Not quite your ordinary house, that's for sure.
Hey, Whisker, where's Chris?
Jill, no. You don't want to go back out there.
But we've got to find...
What was that?
Another great experience is Shadow the Hedgehog. Again, 100% performance, no issues, not having to tinker around with any of the settings or anything.
Time to go and fulfill this promise.
The only issue with this is how bad I am at some of these games whenever I'm trying to play them through the camera, trying to record footage. Honestly guys, I'm not as bad as I seem.
Chaos Emerald, you can unlock unlimited power.
Another Sonic game, an even more fantastic performance, and that is Sonic Heroes. This is a really good game that I actually haven't played before, and in testing, really enjoyed it. Now, there did seem to be a bit of a minor glitch where the characters went through the actual level, but I felt like that was a glitch with the game. We all know Sonic games kind of always have like odd glitches here and there. They're not perfect, are they? And I feel like that's more what that was as opposed to an emulator issue, but a fantastic game that I really enjoyed and plays brilliantly on the system.
There they are.
Got it.
Leave it to me. Let's go. Here we go.
All right. Got it.
Here we go. Go. Leave it to me. Let's go.
Got
Here
it.
we go. Look at all those Eggman robots. Let's go.
Got it.
Level up.
Already.
Next up are the classic Mario Strikers, and this just runs brilliantly. Absolutely buttery smooth, no issues whatsoever, which is exactly what you need for such a fast-paced, awesome action-based sports game. Mario Strikers is so much fun and it is so fast-paced. You need to be able to feel it when you're playing it on a system like this, and it really works brilliantly. Next up is Super Mario Sunshine, another classic that we play a lot on our comparison videos, and I'm pleased to say that once again, absolutely no issues, 100% speed throughout. It seems to just be doing exactly what it should be doing when we were comparing it to the original game on the actual console. Now this game does get a bit of stick, but I personally really like it. I like how different it is to the other Mario games, and I think I might actually try and complete it on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, because it's a game I actually haven't completed yet. Next up is Super Smash Bros. Melee, and whereas I do say that the reason why I'm not good at these games is because I'm recording it through a camera, in all honesty I'm absolutely terrible at Super Smash Bros. Games, as you can tell. But the emulation is spot on, absolutely runs perfectly, no issues. Retroid Pocket 4 Pro smashing it again. Next up is The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. Such a bright, gorgeous looking game, and it looks absolutely amazing on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. No issues, 100% speed. Starting to get a bit boring how often I'm saying this, but that is how good the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro handles GameCube emulation. Another Zelda game, a bit of a different one, maybe a bit harder to emulate, Zelda the Twilight Princess, but no, Retroid Pocket 4 Pro has no issues whatsoever. Once again, 100% speed, an absolute pleasure to play this game on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. The Simpsons Hit and Run, another classic that we play a lot in our comparison videos, and once again, absolutely buttery smooth, no issues, an absolute pleasure to play this game on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. And one of my favourite experiences on the system, actually, I managed to almost complete this on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, and I think I might do it now that it's on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. Next up, playing Tony Hawk's Underground 2, another great looking game, and once again the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro has absolutely no issues. 100% speed throughout, letting you do your kick flips, tricks, ollies, everything you want to do with no issues whatsoever. And another classic high-speed racing game, another one of my favourites, and that's XG3. Once again, it really runs brilliantly on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, and this is a good game to show why having the speed percentage is quite important, because in previous comparison videos I wasn't sure if this was maybe running a bit slow when we'd see the FPS dropping down a bit, but as you can see it's running at 100%, which is as it should be running on the actual GameCube itself. Like we said, old school consoles sometimes didn't actually max out at 60 frames per second for some of the high intensity games, as you can see with Extreme G3. But one thing's for certain, the Retroid Pocket 3 Pro is an absolute beast when it comes to GameCube emulation. And it really is a console now that has excited me to go back and complete some of these games that I haven't completed. Honestly, it's such a pleasure playing these games on this system. It feels like I'm playing a genuine Nintendo console. If you want to see how the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro handles PlayStation 2 emulation, then check out this episode right here. And the full review will be coming soon.